Hello everybody, my name is Rolo and today we're reading another Reddit story. So if that's your cup of tea, please do like and subscribe and let's get into today's video. Today's story comes from Tough Volcano with the title, Girlfriend and I, 26 male and 26 female, got into a huge fight over a keyboard, thinking about ending things based on her behavior. So my girlfriend and I, both 26, got in a fight about this 2 nights ago, and she's making it seem like I'm being an asshole. We've been dating for 4.5 months. My girlfriend has a 2013 Lenovo laptop that has seen better days. As it stands right now, among some other issues, her keyboard totally doesn't work. Because of this, she always uses a small Bluetooth keyboard with her laptop. She had texted me the next morning that her wireless keyboard had stopped working as well. We had already planned for me to stay the night at her place after I got off work, so I offered to stop by my place on the way to grab her keyboard as I have a few extras. When I got to her place, she was eagerly awaiting the keyboard, which makes sense as she wasn't able to use her computer for most of the day. But when I handed her the keyboard, she started getting really quiet and pouty. A bit later, when I asked her what was wrong, she said she thought I'd be bringing her something nicer, like the keyboard I have at my desk. The thing is, I have a really nice keyboard at my desk. I'm a programmer and I love this keyboard so much that I also bring it to work with me. I even have specific macro profiles for it that definitely improve my workflow. For context, I had an extra Amazon Basics keyboard, $15, lying around, still brand new in the box. My personal keyboard, which I've had for years, is some variant of the Razer Black Widow, which is around $120. Anyway, she was apparently expecting me to be selfless and let her use my nice keyboard, while I used the Amazon keyboard. She was upset that I didn't value her enough to lend her my nice possessions and left her with the cheap $10 keyboard. Her words. She said if the situation was reversed, she'd lend me the nice keyboard. I explained to her that I have my keyboard specifically set up for work, and because I'm so used to it, it would hinder my ability to do work if I didn't have it. We continued to argue about it. Things really came to a head when she boldly claimed that if I wasn't willing to lend her my nice keyboard, that I should have bought her a nice new keyboard if I really cared about her. This is when I got really mad. I told her she was acting like an entitled, spoiled child and that she should have been grateful that I went out of my way in the first place to grab her the Amazon keyboard. She started crying and asked me to go home. I left, but I still gave her the Amazon keyboard to use. I was far more upset at the principle of the situation than the keyboard itself. Now she's calling me an asshole for both not giving her my keyboard and because I called her spoiled. We're going to meet up tomorrow to talk about this in person because I refuse to continue this silly argument over text. I'm thinking about ending things with her as I feel like this is her showing me her true colours. Now, I know that not everybody will agree with this opinion that I have, but personally, I don't think that even somebody you're dating should be entitled to the expectation that you are always going to go above and beyond and give them amazingly nice things every single time. You should want to do that because you want to go above and beyond for them because you love them so much or you just feel that's what they deserve. Feeling like you have some entitlement to that kind of treatment is not a good look in my opinion. And I do think that maybe if this is a continuing theme with her that Opie has seen throughout their relationship, I do think it's time for them to just end it because it's clear that Opie cannot give her what she wants every single time. And the fact that she is wanting him to literally make his work suffer so she can have a nicer thing and let him struggle with the different keyboard that he's not used to. It doesn't make sense. She's saying, oh, if the situation was reversed, I would do that for you. But then if she got the nice keyboard, the situation is reversed. So isn't it kind of redundant? I don't know. Let me know what you think about it, but before that, let's hear what the comments have to say. Comfy Mistake says, you are honestly 100% right. She's acting like a spoiled child. Beggars don't get to be choosers. She wants your nice keyboard, she can buy one for herself. Better yet, she can book up and save up for a new laptop.
I don't blame you at all for feeling angry. I think you should attempt to talk through it before you decide to break up with her, but it's definitely a red flag that she's acting this way. Info Girl says, I think you got it right when you said she was a spoiled brat. She should have been grateful that you came over with a keyboard, any kind of keyboard. Maybe she should take her own advice and be a little selfless. I would pose a question to you. If you two were fighting over a keyboard, what will happen when an issue that is a bit more serious comes up? Good luck with your talk. I have a feeling you're gonna need it. LMKBK says, never marry someone until you've seen how they act on a really bad day. Opie comes back into the post with an edit. She texted me asking to meet up tonight instead of tomorrow as she is feeling anxious and stressed about the situation. I will give everyone an update later tonight or tomorrow morning. I also wanted to clarify that she's never acted like this before, although admittedly, we haven't been together for long. Some of you suggested that maybe I'm not making her feel valued, and this situation is a symptom of that. While I think I both show and tell her that she's valued in different ways, this may be something I bring up to her. It, of course, doesn't forgive her behavior, but may explain some of it. Cheers. So OP does come in with his edit the next day. We met earlier tonight and sat down to talk. I was somewhat prepared to end things with her, so I suggested we meet at her place so I could bail if things went south. And they did. Even though I thought I made my post as anonymous as possible, one of my girlfriend's co-workers figured out who the post was about. Girlfriend's age, work in HR, which I mentioned in a comment, same computer problems, dating a programmer, etc. and sent it to my girlfriend. The reason she wanted to meet early was because she was furious that I had made the post, airing our dirty laundry. In a sense, I guess she was right because at least one person on Reddit had figured it out. My girlfriend never used Reddit, so I figured I was safe. There's a strong chance she'll read this one as well, lol. Anyway, she immediately began berating me, telling me that I made her look bad in the post and lied about the details of our argument to get people on my side. I asked her to point out any part of it that wasn't true or where I had lied. Long story short, she couldn't point to a single thing. I definitely raised my voice when I told her that if she looked bad, it's only because of her actions. I told her I only made the post to get some perspective on the matter. The post was 100% accurate, and she knew it. She began to tear up and asked me if I really was considering leaving her over the keyboard. I asked her if she understood that this wasn't about the keyboard. It was about the way she acted towards me when I was trying to do her a favor. She stayed silent and didn't answer. I asked her what had prompted this outburst, if everything was okay with her. I asked her if anything had happened with her friends, parents, or at work that was upsetting her and may have led to this. She got really defensive, asking, "Are you calling me crazy? And do you think I'm unstable?" I had no idea where she was going with this. I told her I wasn't calling her crazy, but that she had to understand that I was quite confused about how she was acting, and that there had to be a reason for it. We talked in circles for a bit, and I tried to pry it out of her. I still don't know what caused all of this, because she simply wouldn't tell me. When I realized our conversation was going nowhere, I finally asked her if we were going to have an adult conversation or if this was the hill she was willing to let the relationship die on. She asked, "What do you want from me?" And I said, "I want an apology." I'm getting tired of typing, so I'll wrap this up quickly. She was absolutely unwilling to apologize. She thought that my betrayal of posting about this was far worse than her initial behavior was. We talked for about 5 more minutes before I told her that I don't even care anymore. I told her this whole thing was exhausting, as she wasn't willing to help us get to the bottom of this, that we should just break up. I didn't waste any time making my way to the door. As I was leaving, she asked if I wanted the keyboard back. She didn't ask to be nice. She was definitely trying to get on my nerves. I could tell by her tone of voice. I told her she could keep it as long as she promised never to call or text me again. I've been getting tons of not so nice messages from her friends, which finally prompted me to delete my Facebook. She obviously told her friends some false version of the story, which made it seem like I really did leave her over the keyboard. I couldn't care less, as I'll never be seeing any of them again. We only dated for about 4 months, so in the end, I don't feel terribly heartbroken. mostly just relief that it's over, but also confusion. Still have no idea why she acted out. And to the people who had some unkind words towards me because I use a Razer keyboard, pound sand dorks, I like what I like. Very short edit. She called earlier today and was very apologetic. My assumption is that she saw this post and read all the comments detailing how I was right for leaving her, among other things. I told her that she had her chance to apologize. Yeah, so for some reason I completely glossed over that it only been 4 months of this relationship and his girlfriend was acting like that. Like, maybe I get feeling a little bit entitled after a year or so, but 4 months? That's insane. Like, that is crazy entitlement. But in my opinion, this situation ended the best that it could. They broke up, Opie doesn't have to deal with her and her entitlement anymore, and peace is returned to the valley. But let's see what the comments think, shall we? Oceans of Umbrellas says, I saw a comment on Reddit a while back that asked why so many relationships fail at approximately the 3-month point. And someone said, no, I'm not going to spend 20+ minutes Googling to give credit to the person, replied that they'd once been told it was because it was really hard for people to continue pretending to be someone they weren't for much longer than 3 months. I think maybe this applies to your situation. How much it costs says, do you think I'm crazy? Well, I didn't, but now I'm rethinking that. Professor Maylee says, it's never about the keyboard, or the art room, or the Iranian yogurt. To which TJ Will says, but if it's about the gaycation, it is about the gaycation. Metal be a solid response to that saying, surrender yourself or die. And a final comment from White Room which says, I absolutely hate people who try to minimize, are you really dumping me over a keyboard? That's a dumpable offense right there. Bet it was some kind of test her friends put her up to. So it seems that the comments do agree with me that breaking up was the best course of action for this dumpster fire of a relationship. But what do you think about the situation? Let me know in the comments below, and that's where I'll leave it for today. Thank you so much for sticking to the end with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!